and solar powered energy, oh yeah. ECCB 40, yeah, yeah. A long time, boy. Celebrating 40, yeah, yeah. Long time, boy. Feel the rhythm, feel the vibes. 40, 40, long time. Feel the rhythm, feel the vibes. With the CCB for a lifetime. Always coming through for us, a central bank to trust. 40 with no fuss, can't wait for 40 plus. Education, 40 plus. Wealth creation, 40 plus. Teach transformation, 40 plus. The CCB protects you and me in each and every ECCU country. Regional brilliance and vigilance, oh yeah. ECCB 40, yeah, yeah. Long time, boy. Celebrating 40, yeah, yeah. Long time, boy. Feel the rhythm, feel the vibes. 40, 40, long time.
From the heart of ZIZ Radio comes a political talk show like no other. The Edge, with host Devonne Cornelius giving you his take on the biggest stories happening in governance today. Got something to say? Let's hear it. Give us a call at 869-465-2555, Monday to Friday from 11 a.m. to 12 noon. One solid hour of in-depth analysis of the machinery that makes our country tick. The Edge, cutting into the matters at hand.
All right, good morning, St. Kitts and Nevis. It is Monday, October 2nd, 2023. Kittians and Nevisians, both at home and abroad, continue to talk strongly about the future of their country, whether it be their contributions to the development of the country in industries like tourism and hospitality, education, business, culture, and the arts, or how some have been harmed by drug and alcohol abuse, crime and violence, or mental illness. I'm Devonne Cornelius, and you're listening to The Edge, a new talk show here on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. Today, we'll be talking about youth in nation building. In order to help you comprehend this subject at hand, I'll give you some information about the youth of St. Kitts and Nevis. I'll also highlight the contributions that young people make towards the development of St. Kitts and Nevis, the great things that they have been doing. As oftentimes we hear young people are not doing enough in St. Kitts and Nevis, young people are going astray, young people are juvenile delinquents, and so I want to use the opportunity to share with you the good things that young people have been doing, and also to highlight some of the issues that they face in today's society, as well as make mention of the plans and initiatives that exist to assist young people. Now, in St. Kitts and Nevis, you would agree with me that young people complain that their governments don't do enough to support their personal and professional development. While some think the nation is headed in the wrong direction, others believe that we are on the right track, we are on the right road. Others contend that there are other ways to get involved and effect change, while some people think politics is the only way. Now, we have young people in St. Kitts and Nevis who make significant contributions in areas of education, tourism and hospitality, culture and the arts, sports, you name it. They do wonderful things. But the question I want to ask today, the question I think is on the minds of many people here in St. Kitts and Nevis, those of you under the sound of my voice, are young people doing enough in St. Kitts and Nevis? Are young people being recognized for their contribution in St. Kitts and Nevis? What are the issues facing young people today? What have governments done to assist young people? In this program, I'll speak about or make mention of young people and give you the opportunity to weigh in, lend your contribution as we discuss the issues for today. Now, let's look at young people in, as I said, areas of education, youth, sports. We have ambassadors, we have permanent secretaries, we have people leading in the private sector, we have people leading in the public sector. We have young entrepreneurs, we have people who decided to step out of their comfort zone. We have young people who decided to do something different. We have young people who decided to, hey, I want to try something different from the status quo. I want to be different. I want to step out. I want to take a risk. We have young people in St. Kitts and Nevis, Kittitians and Nevisians who reside in the diaspora, who are trailblazers, who are trend setters. What are your thoughts? We'll open the phone lines later. Let me give out the numbers now for those of you who are joining us. You can call us at 465-2555 or 718-577-2916. The numbers again are 465-2555 or 718-577-2916. We have young people like Donya Francis, an ambassador of St. Kitts and Nevis to the Republic of China, Taiwan, who has been doing great things in St. Kitts and Nevis. I want to make mention of people like Patrice Harris, a media professional, currently the corporate communications manager at Skelec. I want to make mention of Jazara Claxton, an athlete, somebody who has been doing tremendous work in sports, in cricket, in football. I want to make mention of Shamari Roberts out of Nevis, also an athlete who has been doing wonderful things, as well as Moriel Knight, who most recently served as the president of the St. Kitts National Youth Parliament Association and is currently, I believe, the deputy clerk of the National Assembly. Roger Williams, a Nevisian, who has been making strides in education and I think currently studying abroad in the field of medicine. Leroy Chapman, athlete, I think currently employed in Nevis as a physical education officer. Colin Archibald in the area of cricket. Vakel Herbert in the area of music. Chavonnet Maynard also in the area of music, and Chavonnet is from the island of Nevis. And I'm putting in a plug there because I am Nevisian as well. Dennis McCall Jr., Jean Amry Jr. This is just a short list of young people in St. Kitts and Nevis who have been doing wonderful things, who have been making a significant contribution. Do you believe that enough is being done to support the work of the young people? Do you believe that enough is being done for their personal and professional development? These are the questions. Now, I have conversations all the time with my peers, and oftentimes they say, by Devonne, much ain't happening in St. Kitts and Nevis. Some of them complain that they're underpaid. Some complain that they're not getting the opportunity to train. There are young people in St. Kitts and Nevis that may not necessarily be the ones who you would see excelling in terms of their academics, but they're good with the skills. You have those who are good with carpentry, electrical work, painting. What opportunities exist for them is the questions that they ask. And to the best of my knowledge, I share with them some of the opportunities that they can grab, some of the things that they can do to help themselves. As I'll tell you, I'm one person that don't believe in not just young people, but people generally depending too much on the state and depending on others for their sustenance. I believe that people should go out and work for what they want. I believe that people should go out and be independent, provide for yourself, provide for your families. And I'm telling you, in the conversations that I have had with young people, this is what they want, most of them at least. This is what they want, to be able to provide for themselves, to be able to provide for their families, but they're asking what opportunities exist. Now, there are different ways that in the Caribbean, and to bring it home in St. Kitts and Nevis, the government has done to recognize young people. We have the 25 Most Remarkable Teens initiative. This was launched, I think, back in 2011, and it's an initiative where the government, the Department of Youth Empowerment specifically, recognize young people and the contribution that they make in sports, health, education, spiritual commitment, and the list goes on. And hundreds of young people have been awarded. I have had the privilege of being awarded in 2017 in the area of performing arts. Yes, I sing and participate in the performing arts very much. And so there are things happening for young people. We have programs like the one-to-one laptop program. I remember when I was in high school, that program was launched. And so you had young people that were not in a position to purchase a laptop, whether them or their families. And so assistance was provided for them to access their education online. I mean, we're in the 21st century and we're moving now to the digital era, and so most things are now online. And so I think it is important for young people, especially in education, to have access to technology, to have access to the internet. There was some feedback and criticism about that program where critics said it was not properly launched, training was not offered to teachers and parents alike, as well as students. And so you had a situation where the laptops were just handed out and persons were not given the opportunity to train. You have now where the program has been reintroduced, and so to my understanding, the Ministry of Education is embarking upon an initiative or a program to train the parents, teachers, students for the use of these laptops and to ensure that they are being used for its intended purpose. I can tell you, you had people that got access to these laptops and quite unfortunately they did not use them for its intended purpose. And so you had a situation where these laptops were being distributed and they were not being used for its intended purpose. What's happening now, the government has introduced that, and so they're offering the training there. And so those are just a snapshot of some of the programs and things that exist to assist our young people. Now, looking at the challenges that young people face, and I think the biggest one is the fact that I know too many young people in my community on the island of Nevis and in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis that have fallen victim to drug and alcohol abuse, that have fallen victim to crime and violence. Some have lost their lives. We are aware of the crime situation in St. Kitts and Nevis. But what can we do as a community? What can we do as a people to assist our youth in St. Kitts and Nevis? What are the programs that exist to assist the youth in St. Kitts and Nevis? We know of the after-school programs that exist in St. Kitts and Nevis in different areas to assist our young people. Now, we have a situation, and if I could, on the topic of youth and what young people have been doing, we also have to look at the issues that they face. And oftentimes I know we say young people are not doing enough, young people are going astray, young people are, for lack of a better word, lazy, but this is a word we hear used very often. We still have to remember those, and we still have to find a way to assist those who may not be in a position to help themselves. Those who really want to do better, those who really want to make a change, those who really want to make their friends and family and the community proud. But what is in place for them? What are we doing as a community to assist them? That is the question that they are asking. And I believe that is the question that some of you have on your minds today. What are we doing to assist our young people? What programs have been implemented to assist our young people? But you must also ask the question, do the young people want assistance? Because I can tell you that apart from government and community organizations, people come together individually to assist people, young people, who are at risk. And for whatever reason, they refuse the help. What do you say in response to that? There are young people who are at risk, drug and alcohol abuse, mental illness, and they refuse the help. And so, in short, what I'm saying is, we have young people in St. Kitts and Nevis who do marvelous things. And I feel oftentimes we don't recognize them, and we don't say thank you for the work that you've been doing. And for young people who are not as, or the word I'm looking for is losing me right now, but for young people who don't do, let me say, great things, I think they need a stronger support system from the community, and I think they need to take advantage of the opportunities that exist to assist them. It is 11:17 here in the studios of ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. You're listening to The Edge. I'm Devonne Cornelius. That was my, I want to say, short introduction. The program goes right up until noon, and so I'll give an opportunity later for people to call in and contribute to the topic at hand. Again, the numbers are 465-2555 or 718-577-2916. Those are the numbers that you call. You can also follow us via ZIZ's YouTube channel or Facebook page. Let's take a short break and we'll be right back with more.
ZIZ Radio, entertaining the nation, enjoyed by the world.
From the heart of ZIZ Radio comes a political talk show like no other. The Edge, with host Devonne Cornelius giving you his take on the biggest stories happening in governance today. Got something to say? Let's hear it. Give us a call at 869-465-2555, Monday to Friday from 11 a.m. to 12 noon. One solid hour of in-depth analysis of the machinery that makes our country tick. The Edge, cutting into the matters at hand.
Get ready to tune into a brand new show that's bound to make waves. Introducing Pleasure Pulse, your ultimate destination for all things sex education. Hosted by the one and only Roma. This show promises to be informative, entertaining, and oh so enlightening. Premiering on October 3rd from 8 to 9 p.m. So make sure to mark your calendars and join us on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM for a candid conversation about the mysteries and joys of intimacy, relationships, and everything in between. Get ready to unlock a world of knowledge and discover new dimensions of pleasure. Pleasure Pulse premieres October 3rd from 8 to 9 p.m. exclusively on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM.
Welcome back to The Edge, right here on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. I'm Devonne Cornelius. It is Monday, October 2nd, 2023. So happy to be here. I know most of you, last time you heard me on the airwaves was sometime in July, but I am back and I want to interact with you, the listeners. The numbers again are 465-2555 and 718-577-2916. That is 465-2555 or 718-577-2916. No, we have a call on the air. All right, let's take our first call.
Yes, hello, good morning. I think the young people them to go out and learn a chill. They go from the college and start their own business and stop doing the gang thing.
All right, caller, thank you so much for your contribution. Do you have anything else to contribute? All right, thank you, caller, for that. Learning a skill, go to the learning a skill and stay away from gang violence. But there's a point that I wanted to make before the caller came in, right? Speaking on the topic of youth in nation building and what young people have been doing, right? I also want to look at this subtopic of victimization, and there are young people in St. Kitts and Nevis who have been subject to victimization, not just because of politics, but because of whatever stance or position that they have taken, right? And it is a real issue that we face here in St. Kitts and Nevis. I believe that it is a conversation that needs to be had. Let me stick that point here, and we have a caller. Caller, you're on the air.
Good morning, Devon.
Good morning. Welcome to the program.
Good topic. Welcome to the Edge. Now, first, I want to thank God for the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis. Country I born into and live into, and try my best to do whatever I can do, especially for young people. Now, Devon, what happened to some of our young people? I think the lacking come from the home. And when society try to get in and try to, like people outside, you try to correct them and tell them that they're going wrong because they don't stop and go by the home, in the home and don't know how to hand. You cannot talk to them. I remember back in my days when I was coming up as a little boy coming up. Devon, sometimes you only go past somebody straight. You can't pass somebody straight. As soon as you pass somebody straight, they complain to your mother. Say no good afternoon, good morning. They complain to your mother, and your mother beat you or whatever. They counsel you, tell you no.
Right.
When you see Mr. Day, say good afternoon or good morning. But we don't have none of that anymore. And some of the parents them very, very lacking. Because when you try to correct the children, they're not tell you to fast and all those things. So I don't know how much society could do about helping these young men and women who out there, especially, going the wrong with smoking, drinking, either be in different areas in St. Kitts. And when I see the kind of age of young people, young men, young people supposed to in school, and they say they're smoking and drinking. And the drinking with adults, adults supposed to help correct them.
But why do you think this is happening, though, caller?
What do you think is happening? Because I don't think sufficient punishment coming from the parents and the society, like the government and the police and whatever. I believe that the police are supposed to put down the foot on all these things. I remember when the little boy, Devon, Mr. O'Clark, he didn't gone. That was not forgotten. He was a good man, all his foot. Mr. O'Clark meet you on the road and ask you what you're doing here in school. And Mr. O'Clark will go and carry to your parents and you got to go to O'Clark to your parents and be. And he carry to your parents them. And the parents them going to ask you the reason why you're in school or she in school or whatever. And we ain't not that anymore. We don't have to bring back these things. And Devon, I believe that, but let me tell you something, and the social media, by taking a role on our young people, the social media is, Devon.
All right,
when somebody get a chance, you got only hour.
All right, caller, thank you so much for your contribution to this program. For those of you who are just tuning in, you're listening to The Edge here on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. The phone lines are open and we are taking your calls. We're on the topic of youth in nation building, what young people have been doing, the challenges that they face in society today, and what we can do as a community, as a people, to assist the youth. But the point I was making was victimization, and it is a conversation I believe that needs to be had. It is a conversation that has been going on for quite some time in and around St. Kitts and Nevis, and there's some people who have been victim of victimization because of whatever color they support, whatever stance they decide to take on a particular topic, a particular issue, and they are denied of opportunities. That is sad. That is really, really sad. And I think we can do more as a country. We can do more as a people. We need to do better. We really need to do better. We can't on one hand say we are in support of young people. We are all about youth empowerment and youth development. And on the other hand, we are stifling the growth of young people. We're not in support of things that they want to do to make St. Kitts and Nevis a better place. It can't be. Or else we are just hypocrites. That is how I see it. That is how I see it. Quite unfortunate. All right. Again, the phone lines are open. Call us at 465-2555 or 718-577-2916. This is The Edge on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. It is 11:27 a.m. here in the studios, and we'll take this program right up until 12 noon. But on the topic again of victimization, I really want us to do more, and I'm speaking to those who have the power, or those who are in that seat, those who are in the chair to do more. And this is not just public sector, but this is also private sector. This is also community organizations, because you have that happening at that level as well. It is really sad, and I really believe, I am of the view that we can do more. As I said, I've had conversations with people, and there's some people who just they for them, they get up, they go to work, they come back home, and that's it. They don't participate in nothing, because for fear of not having their voice heard, not being given the opportunity to make a contribution, to be at the decision-making table. And so, to save themselves the embarrassment or the humiliation, they just completely remove themselves from the process. But how can we go forward? How can we move forward? How can young people continue to develop? How can we say that we are empowering young people? But at the same time, there are young people who I think can do more and should do more. We have an initiative right now where for those who are interested in going off to study, I think at the development bank, the interest rate was once at 9%, and they've now lowered it to 5%. And so it is now more accessible, where you can access funding at that financial institution to finance your studies, right? So those who are interested in furthering their education in terms of the academics. But for those who are interested in the skills-based programs in terms of carpentry and electrical work and plumbing and all of that, they're asking what programs exist, what are we doing, what are private and public sector and community groups and organizations doing to support the work of the young people. These are very, very important questions that must be asked. These are questions that are not questions that we should ask, but these are questions that are being asked by our young people. I'm telling you, in my involvement with youth groups and organizations across St. Kitts and Nevis, we talk about these things all the time. And I tell you that there are people or members of these groups and organizations who speak passionately, who speak with some with anger, some with you know, they really care and they're really interested in the topic. They speak on it because they are passionate. But as a young person at the, let me say, young age or tender age of 22, I want to be an advocate for young people. I believe I'm an advocate for young people and providing opportunities for them and making them aware of the opportunities that exist, the opportunities that government and private sector provide for them. So while on one hand I am saying to young people that these are the opportunities and programs and plans that exist for your personal and professional development, I am also saying to young people, it is time that you rise up. It is time that you get up and do more for yourself. And we cannot continue to be of the notion or to, you know, stay in our comfort zones that, you know, everything is going to happen and we don't have to go out and work and we don't have to go out and provide for ourselves and we don't have to go out and get ourselves trained and qualified. There are some things that you're going to have to do on your own. Yes, there are programs, plans that exist to help you. But as somebody who's a youth advocate, as somebody who believes in youth development and youth empowerment, I'm not just going to come here and tell you about all of the things that exist, the initiatives, the plans and programs that exist for you to take advantage of. I'm also going to come here and tell you that you need to do more to help yourselves. That there are so many things out there that you can be a part of to build up your community, to build up your country. We just came out, or I would say we're still in celebratory mode for Independence 40. And, you know, when you listen to our leaders, Prime Minister Dr. Drew spoke extensively on what his administration has been doing in the last year since they took office. And they also spoke on, other leaders also spoke on where St. Kitts and Nevis was 40 years ago and where we are today, and the work that has been done over a 40-year period. But as young people today, what are we willing to do now to ensure that we have a sustainable island state? What are we willing to do now to push St. Kitts and Nevis forward for the next 40 years? That is the question that we have to ask ourselves. And I believe that is the question that will be asked of the young people today. What are you doing in your field to ensure that St. Kitts and Nevis remains on top? That is the question that you must ask yourself. It is 11:33 here in the studios of ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. For those of you who are just joining the program, I'm Devonne Cornelius and you're listening to The Edge. We are also live on ZIZ's YouTube channel as well as the Facebook page and via the FM band 96.1 FM. The phone lines are open and we want to hear from you at 465-2555 or 718-577-2916. That is 465-2555 or 718-577-2916. We'll take a break and we will be right back. Stay tuned.
From the heart of ZIZ Radio comes a political talk show like no other. The Edge, with host Devonne Cornelius giving you his take on the biggest stories happening in governance today. Got something to say? Let's hear it. Give us a call at 869-465-2555, Monday to Friday from 11 a.m. to 12 noon. One solid hour of in-depth analysis of the machinery that makes our country tick. The Edge, cutting into the matters at hand.
What did you mean earlier about climate change, Mom? Well, when I was your age, I remember beautiful coral reefs and healthy beaches. The summers weren't as hot as they are right now, and the rainy season meant that it only rained when it was supposed to.
And then what happened?
The weather just started to change, and storms got worse. Coral reefs started to die because the ocean was getting too warm, and crops started to die because there was not much rain. You know, we realized as adults that we were doing something that was causing this.
What were you all doing?
Same thing we're doing now. Not using clean, renewable energy, chopping down too many trees, and even polluting the air with gases such as the gases emitted from our cars when we drive around.
We need some help before it's too late, Mom. We can't let it get worse. What can I do? We can raise our voices.
With 35 million dreams, aspirations, and futures at risk in Cari Forum, we need your voice in our story against climate change. Acknowledge, commit, act. This message is brought to you by the Caribbean Community Climate Change Center under the Intra-ACP Global Climate Change Alliance Plus program and is funded by the European Union.
Get ready to tune into a brand new show that's bound to make waves. Introducing Pleasure Pulse, your ultimate destination for all things sex education. Hosted by the one and only Roma. This show promises to be informative, entertaining, and oh so enlightening. Premiering on October 3rd from 8 to 9 p.m. So make sure to mark your calendars and join us on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM for a candid conversation about the mysteries and joys of intimacy, relationships, and everything in between. Get ready to unlock a world of knowledge and discover new dimensions of pleasure. Pleasure Pulse premieres October 3rd from 8 to 9 p.m. exclusively on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM.
Welcome back to The Edge right here on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. It is 11:37 here in our studio. I am Devonne Cornelius. Thank you so much for joining the program. We are on the topic of youth in nation building and what young people have been doing and the challenges that young people face in St. Kitts and Nevis and the plans and programs that exist to assist our young people. We are also live via the internet, and so you can check us out on ZIZ's YouTube channel as well as ZIZ's Facebook page and follow us there. So on the topic of youth in nation building and what young people have been doing, I can't have this conversation and not speak about employment and employment opportunities and what can be done and what should be done to assist young people in employment. Now, youth unemployment is one of the biggest issues that we face in society today across the Caribbean region. Youth unemployment and youth getting access to jobs that match their qualifications. There are young people today that will tell you that they are underemployed. They feel as though they're far more qualified than for the job that they currently have. There are young people at the same time who would tell you that they are working in an environment and they're not being given access to training to push themselves forward. But employment remains one of the biggest social issues that we face, not just in St. Kitts and Nevis, but across the Caribbean region. And I am of the view that the public sector, and that is the government, I'm of the view that they can't do every single thing to address employment. You have the private sector that would have to play their role in ensuring that not just young people, but generally, are given access to employment opportunities. There's some young people who would tell you, well, I went off to university, or I went to some training institute and I got myself qualified in this field, and I prefer to come back to my homeland to work in the field that I trained for. But to be real, and let's be realistic, sometimes you go off and you train in medicine and you come back and you probably work in retail, you work in tourism and hospitality. That is what happens. All the time you're going to get a job that you want. If I am to be realistic with you. And so there are young people who would say that, and so there are sometimes young people that would say, in conversations that I've had, they don't see the need to go to university, or they don't see the need to get themselves trained and qualified. As long as they're getting money in their hand, that's fine with them. But for me, I believe in training and education and getting yourself equipped, and when you have these things with you, there is so much more that you can do. There is so much more that you can do, not just for yourself, not just for your family, but for the country. Again, we just came out of celebration, or I would still say that we're in a celebratory mood when it comes to independence. And so the question is, what can young people do to push St. Kitts and Nevis forward 40 years on? Well, the topic of employment, people will tell you all the time, hey, I'm not comfortable. I want something better. I want better opportunities. But the question, what are some of the opportunities that exist in public and private sector? What are some of the things that past and previous governments have been doing to assist our young people? What about in the private sector? What about community groups and organizations? What have they been doing to assist our young people? I want you guys to understand where I'm coming from, and I wanted to kick off with this topic because I'm a young person and I'm a youth advocate, and I want people in St. Kitts and Nevis to be aware of what young people have been doing and the issues and the challenges that we face in society today. I believe that there is a lot of, or the expectation is really high when it comes to young people. You're expected to do great things. Let me stick a pin. We have a caller on the line. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yeah, but it's never good morning again, me. The phone line look like it's in a little problem, but anyway, I get you. Now, what happened to most in this country, right? I believe that the private sector is supposed to be the biggest employee in this country, not government. And a lot of young people go off to college, or go off to university, or do whatever, and want to come back and work for government. But I think that if the business sector create more for young people, because a lot of young men and women going to college, going to university and coming back, especially in business, in law, doctor, nurses or whatever. Some of our young people stay over there and work for, maybe get an opportunity and get a job over there. And maybe they think that it's better for them. But if we could see our young people, my son, my daughter, whosoever come back and work for the country wherever he went out, they go study. And I feel proud. I feel proud to see my son or my daughter went to university and come back maybe a bank manager, come back a doctor, come back a nurse or whatsoever, a professional nurse or whatsoever. But I believe that government don't can employ everybody that go to university, and come back. Because I have mostly two nieces, and a nephew. And my nephew went to university. Right now he say that he ain't coming back here to work. He's from Nevis. He's a scientist. He work in a university, teach. He said that he ain't coming back here because when he come back here, the sink it now Nevis could pay him. So that's so good for him. And I believe he's doing well, because if he wasn't doing well, he'll have gone back home.
But let me ask you something,
Caller.
Caller.
Build a big house and everything in Nevis and so on. We got to go young people, because young people got good intention, and when our people got this kind of intention to develop themselves, I come back and practice their own business. We really got to applaud them, eh?
But I want to ask you a question, Caller, before you go. I want to ask you a question before you go. You mentioned earlier people studying in law and medicine and those fields. What other areas you think people should go off to study in instead of the usual becoming a lawyer or doctor? What areas you think are lacking?
I hear what you're saying, good, because the thing cracking up. I don't know where the cracking coming from.
Yeah, can you hear me clearly now? Caller, can you hear me?
I come in, Devon, I come in. Yes, talk again, yeah.
Yes, can you hear me clearly now?
Hello?
Hello, caller, can you hear me?
Hello?
We're having some difficulties with that caller, so perhaps you can call back.
Yeah, you guys are crack up from here. Yeah, this phone cracking up. Okay,
all right. Okay, we had some difficulties with that caller. It's 11:46 here in the studio of ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM, and you're listening to The Edge. I am Devonne Cornelius. The question I was trying to ask the caller, and perhaps the question you guys can think about, is what other areas you think young people can get themselves trained and qualified in? The caller mentioned, and this is a conversation I too have had, where you feel as though most people are going off to study law. Not, of course, knocking those who study law and medicine, but different areas that we think are needed in the economy. Right now, the government has a program in place where they are assisting young people who go off to study at regional institutions like the University of the West Indies. So they're assisting them with their tuition costs, and there are priority areas that the government is encouraging them to study, of course coming back home to contribute to the country. And so I know that is being done, it's been done in the past, and it is being done now. Let me stick that pin. We have a caller on the line. Caller, you're on the air. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Devon.
Good morning. How are you doing today?
Rabbi, you disappear and you up here? You like the Holy Ghost?
Go ahead, caller, make your point quickly. We have a few minutes left.
How much minutes you have left?
A few minutes. Go ahead, make your point quickly.
All right. Number one, the problem is the economy. Our economy is not diversified enough. There's no getting around it. Too much mercantiling going on in this place, and not enough manufacturing and other production. And we're saying, oh, agriculture. Even agriculture is not diversified enough. So when children go away and study and come back, they're not always looking for the government. I think we're confused with that. A lot of the businesses could diversify the jobs they have. You might have one person doing 23 jobs. Why not hire another person? Young people have ambition, and don't talk about politics. I have personal experiences. My daughter, her first degree was in marine biology and zoology. And when she came back here in 1997, she applied to go and work at the fisheries. She was told by the person in charge that she was the second person in this federation who had a degree in marine biology, but yet she was never hired. She went and she came back, and she did resource management. Again, she was not hired. So we have this thing. It is very discouraging. Everybody not looking to the government, but the private sector service too. Everybody buying and selling. Now we're talking about online. They had started some courses at the IT center. You know about that? Mm-hmm. It was supposed to be a hub, right? Where the young people could go and do their own business using the facilities. What about that? We're talking, we're going to teach coding and whatever. Have we talked about the next step? So we don't really have good plans, you know. We need good, proper development plans. Because when they set up priorities, all right, you don't want no more doctor, lawyer, and doctor and lawyer, and who else? They don't want. But then you send them to Cuba for 7 years. They could have been doing something else. You must say what you really want. You're going into high-tech machine at the hospitals, private sector. You know? So, to me, the economy is stifle the young people.
Well, what would you suggest, though, to diversify the economy?
Diversify the economy?
What would you suggest? What do you think?
That's what I say we need to have modern economies. Even in the Caribbean, go Barbados, go Jamaica, go Trinidad. There are other things to do. I always say, for example, when we stop producing soft drinks. I mean, on campus, I was surprised to see children. It is taught in the high school, botany. They do a lot of, so they do geology. In high school, you know, we do 3 subjects: chemistry, physics, and biology. That's it. We're not giving them enough scope. So when they go to UE, unless they're going to do preliminary, they can't just go into some of the sciences. It will prepare them. Guyana now has a petroleum industry, right? If we were preparing our children with geology, because geology starts in those schools, so that our children, when they don't have to come back, because it's a CARICOM, free market, so we're not even preparing them to function in the OECS market, nor in the CARICOM market. The same basic thing, buy and sell, buy and sell. What are we producing? We're going into agriculture, the little things we do in agro-processing. We don't even have a serious agro-processing business where the young people could say, look, I got to invest. Now in Nevis in the abattoir, they make stuff, right? Is it possible for a younger person to set up a system? What is our marketing plan? We don't have anything.
All right, caller.
Well, you tell me what you think. What do you think? You're a young person.
Well, I give my comment, but thank you so much for your contribution to
but I want to hear it,
program. You know. All right, it is 11:52 here in the studios of ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. For those of you who are just tuning in, you're listening to The Edge. I am Devonne Cornelius. The phone lines are still open, and so we're taking your calls at 465-2555. 718-577-2916. I'm just looking across that. Okay, we have another caller on the line. Let's take this call. Caller, you're on the
good morning. I hope you ain't getting no feedback.
Go ahead.
Huh?
Yes, a little bit of feedback. So move away from the radio a bit.
Okay, let me just see.
Yeah, caller, go ahead. Caller.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes, go ahead. Make your point.
Yeah. I don't know what this program is all about. It seems there's a new program. But listen if your callers call in. Okay? Now, I understand what you're trying to say or what you're trying to do. Right? But these people is trying to prolong the fucking government.
All right. It is 11:54 here in the studios of 11:54 a.m. here in the studios of ZIZradio.com. The phone lines are open and we're taking your calls at 465-2555 or 718-577. Diversification in certain workplaces or environments, having one person doing a million things instead of diversifying that. But setting out a clear plan. Now, as mentioned earlier on the topic of youth and youth development or youth and nation building, I know there is a plan that currently exists in the Department of Youth Empowerment. The exact name of it is slipping me, but it's the Action Plan or the Federal Youth Policy and Action Plan. I think that's the name of it. And in that plan, they have listed not just broad youth development, but they have goals and timelines that they want to achieve these things by, right? And so you have goals and timelines in this action plan, and you have different areas in terms of training opportunities that exist for young people. There are specific things that exist in this action plan, and I think the time frame is from 2023 to 2027. All right, do we have a caller on the line? Okay, no, we don't have a caller on the line. It is 11:57 here in the studios of ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. So the point I was making is that is the plan that exists within the. All right, let me stick up in. We have a caller. Caller, you're on the air.
Pleasant morning, Cornelius, and pleasant morning to your listeners via radio internet. I just think what Sister Henry said to the eye pertaining about the economical diversity, where we shall find we are not really pushing much for the young people them in our shores of St. Kitts and Nevis, and even the wider part of the Caribbean. We thought the good talk, but the work don't follow the action that need to apply. Now here is that young people coming back from these universities to indicate their service to their state or their country they apply on. Now their country they apply, some of the studies that they return back with don't have the insistence for our service on here. And you know that too. But it's just that we're trying to run to throw things up because we want to have a quick money. Let me look at this table of the market on us in particular. We have to look wisely because we don't trade that damn thing on here to make ourselves look like we people. But all I will say is trying to educate people wisely about what the market, how we could stabilize ourselves, and not what we go looking at the global market, because we're not ready for them criminal people who have the capacity of damaging our economy. Give thanks. Blessed love.
All right, Carter, thank you so much for your contribution to this program. I'm going to begin wrapping up as we are soon out of time. Just 2 minutes left. Let me say thank you so much for joining me on this first edition of The Edge here on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. I've been your host, Devonne Cornelius. The first program. This program is Monday to Friday, 11 a.m. to noon. And so I look forward to engaging with you, the people here in St. Kitts and Nevis, our listeners, on a wide variety of topics. Tomorrow I'll be bringing something very interesting. And so I want you to take advantage of it and make your contribution. Listen, and let's have a meaningful contribution. Before I close out this program, though, I want to make it abundantly clear. Now, I don't have an issue. And I think most of you who have listened to me before know this. I don't have an issue with people being passionate and making their point clear and having their voice heard. But if you are going to come here to be disrespectful, you and I cannot have a conversation. If you're going to come here and feel as though you can do as you like, you and I will not have a conversation. But I welcome the callers to make your contribution, but please, let us respect others. Let us first respect ourselves and respect others. All right. This has been The Edge. I'm Devonne Cornelius. Thank you guys so much. See you tomorrow at 11 a.m. Have a good one.